Hey everyone, I'm really excited, to get on with this new episode. I've got Ian Sanders here. He's the co-founder and CEO of Cape. He's going to tell us what they're up to, and I'm really excited to have Ian on the show because we're in this point in time where people are trying to figure out what it is like to build a startup, and Ian is building a startup, and he's right in that place where all the grind and hustle is going to. And I think what the audience really can enjoy in this interview is that in previous conversations, if you listen to this show, and I'm sure if you're listening to this episode, you probably heard some of the other episodes. We've been talking to startups who've already raised Series A, Series B, or Series C, pre-IPO startups. We talked to founders who already sold secondary shares in their company, and this is kind of like a different situation. Ian is, he's really building something from the scratch, from the ground up right now, and super interesting to hear his take on it and share his kind of knowledge and what he's thinking about this. And yeah, so Ian, thank you so much, man, for being on the show.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's an absolute pleasure being on, and thank you for having me. So, I don't know, this started off maybe a little bit about my background in short, and then maybe a little bit about the company itself. So, as you clearly hear from the New York, New Jersey accent, which is also why I talk a little quickly. So, I apologize to anyone beforehand. But I was actually originally born in West Orange, New Jersey, moved here when I was a little kid. And basically, I come much more from a security background. So I started as a special forces operator in Unit 217. I served there as a scout sniper squad commander, finished my military service, then afterwards went into the world of security contracting. So I became a security consultant for one of the leading um, um, mining companies in the world, Giral Group. I actually ran one of the largest mines in the country at the time in Sierra Leone, Marampa. So 120-man detail, $350 million site. I did that for quite a bit of time. I tried starting there, actually, my first company. It was my first take in entrepreneurship, which is actually really what got me so hooked. So I tried starting a security consulting company dealing in the mining industry. We tried to make a go of it, couldn't make it. That's life. You pick up where you just pick up and you just keep on moving. And that's it. So I decided to come back to Israel and then started doing computer science and really I'm an autodidact. So became super interested in almost any field dealing in the world of computer science, started building on all these different applications, all these different products, and got extremely interested in the world of environmental surveillance. And basically, when COVID-19 hit us, we saw how these little respiratory diseases are able to cause massive disruption throughout multiple markets, almost crashed the world economy at the time, and are still causing massive fractures in multiple industries across the world. It became extremely clear to me that instead of me trying to, at the time, build these weather prediction models, a lot of companies doing that, there's this entirely new field of respiratory disease modeling, which we need to overcome. We need to have that data. We need to provide that data in the end of the day. That's really what Blue Cape is here to do in the end of the day. We provide extremely accurate risk classification scores for the risk of respiratory disease, both historical, real time, and up to a month and a half predicted.
So you guys are like breezometer, but just on the health side instead of just the. Is that fair to say?
That is very fair to say. In fact, how you can imagine it is that we're actually a beautiful synergy between health and environment, and where they actually come together.
Interesting. Okay, so just for some context for the audience, so breezometer, maybe Ian, maybe you can explain. They basically map out air pollution, right? Like they map out and they show you. They actually got bought out by Google, I think, in the last few months. Yeah, they made an exit. Not sure. I'm not sure. I'm sidetracking here, but I'm not sure if did the investors make money on that deal? I don't.
Yeah. They sold for 200M.
And how much did they raise?
I think they raised overall, I think was around $50 million, give or take, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so essentially everyone made money on this deal. Interesting. So actually, Ran, the CEO, was on the show like few years ago. So to get back to the conversation, so basically Breezometer, they are what they do. So they map out air pollution and they show it on a map. I think that's why Google bought them. It's a great synergy. And so you guys do basically the same thing, only for, if someone has asthma, then he knows, what he needs to stay away from and what places are safe for him. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we would be doing it more for respiratory diseases directly. So first starting with viral, so COVID-19 influenza, and then eventually we'll move on to COPD and asthma. So currently right now, the models we've created work for COVID-19 and influenza in particular. So if someone's, let's say, we're going to less use it for this, it's used in it's more of a B2B and it's not really used for the consumer, although I'll go into I can go at a little bit of a later point in time, not now, into a heartfelt story of actually why I created the technology to begin with. But really, in short, if you were going to use it for consumer products, so imagine somebody's immunocompromised, pulmonary populations, elderly groups. I say this with a very heavy heart, but the world has changed. The world has really changed for them. When you look at the current morbidity from these types of diseases, it is extremely clear who is dying and getting hospitalized from these diseases. It's exactly those groups, and they actually have there's a reason of fear. There's a reason of fear for them during especially COVID and influenza surges.
And are you coding? Are you literally building the platform? Are you a software guy?
Yeah, I'm also software. Yeah, also software guy. Also a CTO. We also have a CTO who's also building the platform. We're also working with some of the top epidemiologists in this country. Professor Itamar Grotto, for example, sits on the executive board of the World Health Organization. He's been extremely active in helping us perfect and build up our models. And yeah, we're ready to go. It's very exciting.
Awesome. So, okay. So how, take me through, what's the day-to-day like for you right now? How does it look like?
The day-to-day is actually, okay. So to make it very clear, in the very beginning, now it's a little bit different, but in the very beginning, you are just grinding and trying to better understand where is the actual value itself. Just to make it clear, go into hindsight, there's not a lot of value. I say this with a very heavy heart, but there's not a lot of value in providing this as a B2C. Okay, to make it very clear, for immunocompromised pulmonary populations, even if you go through that for, let's say, an insurance provider, not a lot of money in that, very hard to prove that. That's not the current use cases. I won't go into the current use cases right now where we're seeing a lot of value. But in reality, in the beginning, you'll really be grinding it out. And now it's more of the deals that we do are much more long sales cycle enterprise deals. So the deals that we're building right now in particular, we're in motion with a number of clients. And it's really building out presentations, going to this meeting, going to that meeting, setting up our partnership channel, setting this up, finding the right people, setting everything to be completely and totally ready. So the minute that we actually completely launch into the US, you'll take the entire market.
And so you spend most of your day on phone calls, on Zoom calls?
I particularly spend most of my days on phone calls, Zoom calls, and working with PowerPoint and Excel. Now we're less on the point. I less spend time with the code at this point.
And how do you structure your calls? Do you set like a limit to how many calls you do each day, or is that, or you're just trying to hustle out, get as much meetings?
As much as you can, get as much meetings, get as much traction, get as much as you possibly can.
And do you track like the results of these meetings in like a specific CRM?
So not in a specific CRM, but what I do is I have a file system of when it comes to the critical business meetings, where I have every single client we're talking to in a specific folder, every single meeting that we have. So it's kind of like think about it like Git. Think about it like kind of like a Git, except for meetings, where I'm basically just lining everything up, writing in Microsoft Word, have a general template. This is what happened in the meeting. This is what we've agreed upon. This is at this date we need to reach out again. And that's it. And have them ready and set.
And is that did you find any way to kind of automate that process? You said templates, but like, do you get like did you find a way to like get notified once you once you need to reach out and follow up to one of the people you talk to, or is that all manual? You literally go into
I do that all manually. Listen, the truth is the amount of clients we're talking to in particular, our clients are very big clients. They're not, we're not talking to a small startup. They're very big clients. So in the end of the day, you're tracking now around 10 different clients that we're talking to currently right now. Some of these are for partnerships. Some of these are for directly selling to them. So that we can track by ourselves. You are completely right that at a certain point, when the company expands, when we close now our first round, I'm going to probably need to automate that process, because you're not going to be talking to 10 clients. You're going to be talking maybe to 20 or 30 clients. And that's, I'm a relatively smart guy. I hope I'm a relatively smart guy. I hope to see myself that way. But yeah, it's going to be quite difficult with everything else to try to track 20 or 30 clients at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Are you making the rounds now with like talking to VCs and talking to investors and kind of?
Oh yeah.
So take us through how does it look like? So, first of all, do you only talk to VCs, or do you also talk to private equity or?
Yeah, angels, VCs. I talk to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it would mainly be now when it comes to a VC, it would mainly be micro funds, because the amount we're raising is not we're not raising a $20 million round.
Yeah, you're raising a pre-seed or a seed?
We're raising a pre-seed.
A pre-seed. Okay. So you're basically talking to micro funds or angel investors. That's basically it, right?
Yeah.
Is there any specific angel investors that you would love to have investing in you? Specific names?
Oh, I can't give specific names, but I can say that what we are building, any insurtech investor that has a good understanding of the life and health market would be very interested in what we're building right now.
Mm-hmm. Great. So, okay. So I want to take this conversation to another kind of place. When you look at at entrepreneurs out there, so basically I would kind of categorize entrepreneurs. Well, I'm not going to try to categorize entrepreneurs, in their personality, but I'm just going to try to categorize them in kind of like the levelers, or kind of like the playing fields, which they're all playing. And I'd love to kind of hear your take on that. So, when I think about it, I think like when the public thinks about, here's the term entrepreneur, they think about the Elon Musks, the Jack Dorseys, the people who are already playing, on their own kind of playing field, right? They have their own, they're in a different category. And then you have the other categories, probably people who have like startups that are in growth mode, and they're, Series A, Series B, Series C entrepreneurs that are, that they want to get to a big liquid event and kind of build themselves up and build the company up as a big brand. And then you have the entrepreneurs who are more, and I'm generalizing, but we're just talking about tech entrepreneurs. You have the entrepreneurs like yourself, who are trying to build, you're essentially building things from scratch now, How do you think the playing field changes in terms of the day-to-day operations that each level has?
Becomes much more strategic as the company probably grows. As in, i.e., it's also like in a team, right? It's also like in the military. I don't want to use the military, because the military and tech are totally different things, to make it very clear. But in a way, you can imagine that the higher you go up in rank and the more people that you have to, the bigger the organization that you need to actually understand and actually, and move around hypothetically, the more strategic your thinking needs to be, both short-term and long-term. So you're less going to be dealing in the nitty-gritty. To make it very clear, I think, and I really give credit to Elon Musk, because I think he's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest entrepreneur of that will be in the 21st century. You could see somebody like him who, even at his current stage with everything that he's doing, he's willing to directly go into the head of R&D, or directly go into the head of DevOps, and he would have a good understanding of exactly what needs to be done. That is exactly what a CEO or a real entrepreneur CEO needs to actually be able to do. You don't need to be the master of CI/CD, or you don't need to be the master of understanding, I don't know, certain types of processes, but you need to have a good understanding of every single process. Absolutely, 100%. And the fact that if you do not understand that, that is a major lack of information, and that could really hurt you later down the line.
Mm-hmm. So I have I have a few ideas about this. Actually, yesterday I talked to one of my clients. Have you saw the Andreessen Horowitz video with Adam Neumann that was published a few days ago on YouTube?
No, I did not see it yet.
Yeah, so they basically talked about Flow, the new startup that they invested in Adam Neumann.
Oh, I heard Flow. I have heard of Flow. I have
Yeah,
heard of a few things. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, everything that Adam Neumann nowadays touches, you hear about. And basically, I asked my friend who's also a client. I asked him, "Do you think like Adam Neumann?" So Adam Neumann now, after he's already a billionaire, and he is building Flow. He has his major investment. I asked him, "Do you think Adam Neumann how hands on is Adam Neumann in this new startup in terms of like the day-to-day operations?" So basically, he told me, and by the way, just for some context, this client that I'm talking about, he's a leading entrepreneur of a Series B startup. So so he's right in the middle from someone who kind of is building things from scratch to someone who is projected to be a big time entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he told me that he thinks Adam Neumann doesn't touch, like he doesn't get his hands dirty, in a figure of speech, that
Yeah.
he kind of navigates everything. But that he is a genius, and there's going to be pinpoints where he is going to get into it. I want to open something for discussion. I feel like today, our agency, we work with about 20 plus startups, some of the biggest names here in Israel, and and I'm not afraid to say this. Some of our clients, some of our CEOs who are in that kind of section between they're building things from scratch and they're trying to become this big time entrepreneurs, I feel they're not able to do deep work enough. I feel like they are very quickly, easily attracted to get into that place where you are like hands off and you have people writing everything for you and you have people doing everything for you. I think that's a huge mistake.
Big mistake.
And I'll give you some concrete examples. You can see this entrepreneurs, and they get into this thing which we internally call this the emails WhatsApp game. What do I mean by that? It's when an entrepreneur starts to spend probably 90% of his day just answering WhatsApps and emails and just like playing ping pong with people. And I think that the leading entrepreneurs, they're able to set out 2 hours, 3 hours each day to actually do meaningful, deep work. What's your take on that?
I completely agree. That's why, like I stated before, and I'll even go into more into that as well. Peter Thiel.
I love Peter Thiel.
He's amazing. He's a genius. He really is.
Yeah.
The whole Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. The whole, it's the PayPal technology. Every single one of them. They're talking about the OpenAI gang. So it's the same. We'll see if that pans out properly to beat the PayPal gang. But Peter Thiel really stated that the new entrepreneurs, the great entrepreneurs of the 21st century, they're not the super experts. Let's say it's not like I have multiple PhDs in machine learning, and I'm here to build Bard, and I'm here to even. Oh my God, that was did you see what happened with Google now? With Bard?
With Bard, yeah, I heard about it. Yeah.
Oh my God! Did you see the actual? Did you see the actual video where they showed it, and there was a huge. They lost $100 billion.
What?
Video? Yeah, we'll go look it up. They lost like $100 billion in market value right now. Crazy.
What? But I'm invested in Alphabet. What? I haven't seen anything.
Apparently, what happened? Sidestep for a second, and then go back to Peter Thiel. Apparently, what happened is they, they're scared out of their mind of ChatGPT, which they should be. In a sense, they should be scared. By the way, a lot of AI conversational startups should be scared out of their mind that ChatGPT is being integrated into every single Microsoft product known to man. If you want to look what Slack happened with Microsoft Teams, and then understand exactly what I'm talking about. That did not end well for Slack, to put it lightly. They have now roughly 270 million users. Microsoft Teams. Slack has 18 million users. So if you want to understand who's probably going to win that war, I put a lot of money on Microsoft right now. I'll put it that way when it comes to the startups as well. Now, on a sidestep with Google, for example, which is also crazy. So they just launched BART, okay? And they, in this promo video that they showed everybody about, I think it's this like 13-year-old kid asking about some galaxy or something, like when were the first exoplanets discovered? So it actually gave incorrect information. Then they
Wow.
and then they published it. And they lost $100 billion in I digress. It doesn't matter. They're basically.
I just saw I just read the headlines. Insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my God. Like it is like, I feel bad for them. And that is a huge disaster. Whoever was in charge of that.
BART is not live though, right? BART is not, it's not live though. I searched for it yesterday. It's not live. Wow, dude, this is crazy. So this is crazy. So okay, so let's get back
going back to Peter Thiel. Yeah, going back to Peter Thiel. He said the greatest entrepreneurs are not going to be these super experts, and not the person who is, I had a 100, I had a perfect GPA in computer science, and I have multiple PhDs in machine learning, and I'm I'm the leading expert in graph neural networks in the world. It's not going to be those types of people. It's the generalists. It's the people that I'm decent at machine learning. I have a good understanding of software engineering. I have a very good understanding of distribution channels. I have a good understanding of this market. I have, you know what I'm saying? I have 10 or 15 different skill sets that are good. There is no total lack of information. And I can combine all of those together into a very, very deadly combination.
Love it.
Those are the next big entrepreneur. That's Elon Musk.
It's exactly the Renaissance. It's also the Renaissance man. Exactly. If you think about the polymaths of Da Vinci, Michelangelo, about those type of people, they've played with science, with art, they've combined all of those, and I think yes, if you look at leading entrepreneurs nowadays, Elon Musk, who's a polymath, Jack Dorsey, polymath, Richard Branson, polymath, the biggest one man VC in the world. Oren Zeev. He's a polymath.
I would love to meet him. By the way, I heard he's a genius.
He's a genius.
If you're gonna listen to this, podcast, just know that I would be very happy to have a 30-minute talk with you, if possible.
Oren Zeev was on this show, you know.
Oh, good. So if you hopefully listen to this, I'm joking.
I don't think he'll listen to this, but he was on the show. He was on the show. He was one of the first interviewees. Cool. So he's a generalist. Like he doesn't. Yeah. So. Okay, so connect that to what we said about the deep work thing.
Yeah, so to connect it directly to the deep work itself, it basically means that I'm always, why do you become this way? Because you're always connected in the end of the day. The people that are just ping-ponging back and forth, you lose it. Even if you were a generalist, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. You know, it's just like everything in life is about, training and, building something up, right? If you don't keep on coding, guess what? And you were a programmer, guess what? You're not going to be able to program anymore. Okay, you can pick it up, but you're not going to be at the same level. If you don't keep on working out, guess what? You're going to lose muscle mass. The same exact thing with entrepreneurs, being these types of generalists and really moving the company forward. If we don't practice those traits in real life, you'll lose it.
And
we are what we do. We are what we do in the end.
Why do you think that like this type of entrepreneurs, Series A, Series B entrepreneurs, why do you think they're so heavy on already becoming so hands off and distributing stuff? Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. Listen, I'm a humble guy, so I will not talk from a place of that I don't know. I don't know. These are just my personal opinions, but it seems to me that, in general, this is currently how I view my company itself, that actually it's a very good thing because I have a very good understanding. I don't come from the classical technical side. I'm much more a business-oriented person. From my dealings in Sierra Leone and also from a few other, experiences in my life, that I'm much more of a business, let's cut a deal kind of guy, kind of a person. And I really came into the technical side saying that if I actually want to make something like this, I need to be a generalist. Even if I'm not at my core a generalist, I need to become a generalist. So I'm going to be forced to now teach myself these things and actually become good at these things, right?
So I tell you what my opinion is, and it's just an opinion, and it's super generic because every entrepreneur is completely different.
True.
I think it's a time management thing. I think a lot of Series A, Series B entrepreneurs, they basically, okay, so they hustled super hard. They did everything hands on for like the first 2 or 3 years in the life cycle of their startup. And then
Right.
they raised like, they raised like 11 or 12 million dollars. And then maybe a series B of another 10 or 15 or whatever. And then they started hiring. And then they said, okay, now I'm like the king of this operation. Now I need to shift my focus from like doing hands-on deep work to making sure, everyone's, doing their thing. Their CMO is doing their thing. Everyone's doing their thing. But I still feel like it's a time management thing, and I'll tell you why. Because even if you do that, and it's natural that you start seeing things in high level and you start being more of an orchestrator than someone who
Yeah.
does hands-on. If you're a Series A, Series B entrepreneur, you still can put in your calendar a 2-hour window to do like hands-on stuff. There is no reason you should like. There's no, you still work your 10 or 12 hours a day. And I think another thing, if I need to kind of add this to this equation as well, I think it's the dopamine thing. It's the dopamine thing, because it's much easier to be addicted to like answering WhatsApps and like ping-ponging your team. Hey, is this done yet? Is this done yet? Are you doing this yet? Than actually sitting in a room, putting your phone on airplane mode, and
Have you read
working for
Atomic
2 hours.
Habits? Have you read Atomic Habits by any
I
chance?
have, yeah, for sure.
It's an amazing book. So here you go. Shout out to Atomic Habits. I think as
Exactly.
well. Maybe you build that through Atomic Habits through what that book says.
Exactly. Okay, man, you've been super generous of your time. I have one last kind of question that I want to ask you for this is, what do you think is the one thing you need to be focused on in the next 6 months?
I need to be absolutely focused on closing our current deals. That's the first and foremost thing. Be absolutely obsessive about closing those deals, because now it looks like we've hit a bit of a, startup life is really, it's a roller coaster. Everything goes up and down, and now we're currently on the up, and you need to carry that momentum forward. So it's really keeping that momentum moving forward and finishing up everything. And that's it. And serving as an example at the end of the day.
Love it. Is there any specific entrepreneur that you look up to?
I really look up to Elon Musk. I think he's probably hands down that will be the most important entrepreneur of the 21st century, and I think one of the most important people of the 21st century.
Love it, man. I think so as well. I think, yeah, he's I'm not. Do you think he's the Michael Jordan?
The Michael Jordan of entrepreneurs? I don't think we should be making those comparisons. I think it's a totally
well, now maybe it's the LeBron James, because you have,
no one will ever switch on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, there's only one Michael Jordan. That's the Michael Jordan I saw crushing everybody when he was on the Bulls, and LeBron James is simply an imitator. He can't compare to Michael Jordan. Nobody can.
Interesting. That's a debate for another conversation. But okay, man, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And keep up the great work, man. I'm really excited to see what you guys where you guys will go. Yeah, we're looking forward. We're looking forward as well. Thank you so much for your time, and yeah,